marks the Hilula of a great Libyan rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yitzchak Guetta Z'tl, one of the great, most famous Libyan rabbis of his time period in itself, respectively. He was born, I believe, on 5th of June in the English year 1777, and he passed away in the year 1857. He would have been approximately 80 years of age. That was naturally on the Chet of Shvat. He passed away. He was a great rabbi, a great Gvir, let's just say, of the Libyan community. He very much had connection with Italy in of itself. He would, towards the end of his life, make Aliyah to the land of Israel, and was one of the founders of the famous Yeshivat Yaakov in Tiberias, and was author of the Torah colossal work called the Yצחק. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born in Tripoli, in Libya, respectively, and he came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rav Faraja Goyeta. I think they came from a great dynasty of the Gwiṭa family. I think they originally descended from Spain, from Sfard, as they say, in of itself. And they would actually, I think, move to North Africa after, let's say, I think probably the time of the Spanish Inquisition, if I'm not mistaken. While he was young, he would learn in yeshiva inside the city among the auspices of Rabbi Moshe Lachmaish, a very, very good rabbi. And I think also Rabbi Chaim Votzari and Rabbi Shalom Plus, really great rabbis in of itself. When he was about 20 years of age, he would leave Tripoli at that stage in time and would move to Livorno in Italy. Remember, Italy, especially in the 1700s period, had a great Torah Jewish community. I think Livorno itself had a great famous Jewish Torah printing house. He would actually work with in regards to important, let's just say, Jewish life cycle matters inside the area in of itself. And I think he would actually be a guest inside the house of the famous, let's say, Gvirim of the Shadarim of Israel. I think Rabbi Yitzchak Guetta, if I'm not mistaken. And remember, at that point in time, there was a lot of Shluchei Rabbanans coming to various different countries all over Europe. And this was naturally called a Shluchei Rabbanan, and very much he would receive, I believe, a blessing from the various different rabbi that would actually come from the land of Israel, that will give a blessing to him, to the people of Husa'aretz in of itself, and really, really did show them the great honor in. Okay, so it's interesting. I believe there's that I think one day they say that the various different stories are actually attributed to the great rabbi. And I think one of the famous stories is that I think one time they were selling barrels, if I'm not mistaken, and he would stumble upon, let's say he came to an auction of barrels, and he didn't necessarily know what they contained inside these barrels, and he placed his hands on one of the barrels while watching curiously what's being sold. He was forced by the sellers to purchase these barrels because they believed, apparently, that because since he placed his hands just on the barrel itself, it was like a form of kinyan acquisition, and they said, you have to buy the barrel over here, because they thought he wanted to purchase it. And he didn't necessarily have the money in order to do it. And the person that was with him at the time, he said that they've got no choice but to buy the barrels. And they later found inside this barrel, I would recommend everyone to learn the story, gold coins inside, and he became very, very rich from it. So he thought it was just accidentally buying barrels that probably weren't worth maybe so much, and then a hidden treasure was found. I would recommend everyone to look into that story in itself. I think come what the year it was, 1799, he would actually then move at that stage in time to Trieste in Italy. Remember, that place in time we have spoken about on various occasions before. I think that Trieste in and of itself had a great Jewish community over there, and he would get married to his wife Rabbanit Mazal Tov, and they would have, I believe, 4 children together. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he would then work as a manager in the Talmud Torah inside the city, and various different, he would be supported by various different, given haskamot from various different great Talmud Chacham in that specific area, and he would open the Beit Knesset and Yeshiva in the city, I think in northern Africa, North Africa. And then in the year 1856, he will make the move to the land of Israel and will settle in Tzfat. Remember, Tzfat is one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, along with Tiberias, Jerusalem, and Hebron, respectively. So he will be there, and over there he would open up Beit Knesset and Yeshiva, synagogue and Yeshiva, and one of them was called the famous Yeshivat Beit Yaakov in Tiberias, a place we've spoken about on this series on various occasions before, if you would actually recollect the amazingment within regards to this famous yeshiva. I think he used his own money to renovate and restore synagogues and buildings in Tzfat and in Tiberias. I think there was a famous synagogue of Rabbi Yosef Karo in Tzfat. I think at an earlier stage it was destroyed partly from an earthquake that occurred, I believe, in the year 1837. Now, he founded a seminary in Tiberias, also called the Pachad Yitzchak, and maintained and founded various charitable funds for the benefiting poor people and needy people in of itself. He was known as a very wealthy merchant, let's just say, but he was a great Talmud Chacham, great Torah scholar, and a great philanthropist also. They actually, I believe it's reported over that some people will say that the current tomb, kever, of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, great rabbi, was actually built by him. Now, he passed away, I believe, the English date of his passing was on the 2nd of February in the English year 1857, and he was buried inside that specific city in himself, I think near the famous Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh in himself. Now, let's explore his great Torah work. His great work was the Sadeh Yitzchak, which is various different Chidushim and Pilponim on the various different Masechtot tractates in the Shas Talmud Bavli in itself, and it was done in a great order of the Gemara, of the Talmud. I think it was divided up into 4 different sections. Chelek, I think the first one was printed, they were printed in Livorno, the first and second ones respectively. The third one was printed in Vienna, I believe, as like the fourth one also was in Hebrew. Hey Tafresh Tet Zayin, he was one of the great famous rabbis of his time, Rabbi Yitzchak Guetta. He would be buried in Tzfat. He was nicknamed naturally the Pachad Yitzchak, and he lived at a time period of golden age of Italy and of Israel and of Tzfat in of itself. Please don't forget to light candles in memory here on the 8th of Shvat. We're a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesterday. If you're related to any of the great chachamim we are speaking about, please send me an email. I would love to hear more, or drop me a comment. And if you feel anyone will be interested in watching these videos, share the videos to other people. Wishing you blessings from Israel, and take care.